Hello, this is Jwlhyfer. Welcome to my Gothic Bohemian Salon. Today I'm going to talk about some other music, more of the death rock genre than Gothic, and mostly, well, some of which is from Los Angeles and the early days of death rock when I was going to places like the Brave Dog and Al's Bar and some places way the hell away from there, whose names I don't even remember, to see this stuff. So let's get into it. So the first person I'm going to mention, I did get to see at the Whiskey, which wasn't too bad. This is Lydia Lunch, and she played with the Birthday Party. Now, before I talk about this album here, I want to mention that Lydia Lunch did a single, a 12-inch single with the lead singer of the Birthday Party called Phaedra, which was quite beautiful, and if you can get a copy, I do recommend it. Don't know if it's available on CD. You might have to look for it on vinyl, but it's completely worth it. So onto this album, which is called 1313. You see on the back, you can see Lydia Lunch 1313. The front is a very dark image of her, and there's also an image of her here. So this only contains 8 songs, but it's amazing. My favorite song is called Suicide Ocean. The music is powerful guitars, powerful drums, and then Lydia Lunch's amazing vocals. And I mustn't forget the bass, which is amazing. Lydia's vocals are like listening to someone having a slow and painful nervous breakdown, and somehow it's all wonderful. The lyrics are amazing, and the way she sings off-key and almost whining sometimes, crying, moaning, yelling, but all in the very best way. So this is Lydia Lunch 1313. Second band I'm going to talk about, I don't have a CD to show you, mostly because I only have them on vinyl, and those vinyls are underneath a phonograph in the other room, and I couldn't get to them. Yes, I do listen to 78s as well, so I have a bunch of those. Maybe I'll review some 78s one day, who knows. Some pretty interesting, very gothic foxtrots and things sometimes. The Superheroines is the band I was going to talk about. Superheroines, I should say. There's 2 albums that I can recommend. Cry for Help and Souls That Save. There's 2 different lineups on each album, but it doesn't really make too much of a difference. The main person that you're kind of there for really is Eva O, whose vocals are incredible, quite powerful. Her lyrics are thought-provoking, clever, irreverent, possibly blasphemous, but good for all that. And her guitar playing is virtuosity itself. I can only imagine what she's like as a guitar player now, because she was that good then. It's sort of like speed metal, I guess. The Superheroines were an offshoot from a band called the Speed Queens, which was speed metal, if I remember correctly. So those are the 2 albums. Also, the Superheroines were on a compilation called Hell Comes to Your House. There's 2 volumes. They're on volume 1. I'm not sure about volume 2. So I can also recommend Hell Comes to Your House compilation. It's got a lot of really great early LA bands on it. Next I'm going to talk about a band that you've probably heard of, Christian Death. And this is the first album by Christian Death. It's the original lineup. The power behind the original Christian Death is not to be underestimated. Yes, the lineup changed. They focused more on Europe, European audience, and a European feel, and a more Gothic feel later. But that's a different band, really. So we're talking about this one right now. Now, if you listen to the Hell Comes to Your House compilation, you'll notice that Roz's voice sounds really, really different on that compilation. And that's because his voice changed after this album came out. Live, he sounded like he sounds on Hell Comes to Your House. And until this album came out, that's how he sang. I don't know if he decided to change his voice a little bit, or if some exec recommended it or somebody else did, but he did change it, and I don't know, I preferred his voice before, but it's still very strong and powerful on this album. I hope I'm not repeating the same words over and over to describe everybody. That must be kind of annoying. Roz's lyrics often have to do with religion. He was brought up very strict as far as I am aware, and religion was a subject that was very, very near and dear to him as something to sing about. These lyrics really spoke to me when I was first in the death rock subculture. They felt like I could have written them myself, and I think a lot of people feel that way, and that's why they relate to Roz so much. As you may know, Roz committed suicide in April of over 10 years ago. I think it's actually the 13th anniversary, so that would be in the year 2000. It was a sad loss for everyone, and I'll dedicate this review to Roz Williams. Backing vocals on here, incidentally, are done by Eva O, who I've already mentioned as the front person for the Superheroines, and the performance artist, Ron Athey. If you're interested in piercing, tattoos, the politics of AIDS, you'd be interested in Ron Athey's performance artwork. Athey is spelled A-T-H-E-Y. Just look him up on the internet and you'll find his work. Roz put out a book of his drawings and lyrics, I believe, which you can still find on Amazon. Just look under Roz Williams and it should come up. The book isn't made to stay together too well, so do keep it safe and take care of it, because they apparently fall apart really easily. But it's a book quite worth having. Last band I'm going to talk about, you may have heard of too. They're called Rasputina, and they're kind of out of the genre of the rest of the stuff that I've talked about. You may have heard of them though, because they did a single with Marilyn Manson called Transylvanian Concubine, which is a fantastic song. It also appears on this album without any of the Marilyn Manson stuff. You have to get that CD single separately. But they're a great band on their own. This is one album called How We Quit the Forest. Oh, and actually the Transylvanian Concubine is on this album, thanks to the ether. Sorry about that. This band has a string section, I believe violin and cello, which is quite unusual and wonderful. And the vocals are either doubled or there's more than one person singing together. Their songs are whimsical, almost like fairy tales or just stories for children. Yeah, it's fun stuff, really, really great stuff. So, highly recommend Rasputina. Well, those are my recommendations for this salon. I hope you found them interesting. I encourage you to look for unusual and different music and to listen to things that you might not have thought about listening to before. I'm going to be bringing you some other things to inspire you. Films, art, poetry, literature, and some actual human beings to talk to you about various things. Please do watch my videos on the Victorian Morning exhibition at the Lacis Museum of Lace and Textiles. You get to go through the exhibit with me, and I explain what things are that are visible on the camera. Not everything was visible, so I couldn't talk about everything. I've done 3 parts so far, and I still have to do a little bit more, so look for new videos about that. And I'm also going to interview the curator, Erin Algio, as soon as possible, probably in a couple of weeks. I'll be interviewing Raymond Andre III of Le Grégoire, a very interesting band here in the Bay Area, or group, I guess you call it. And a lot of really great things are coming up, so please subscribe up above and like down below, and I appreciate your support. So continue watching these videos on YouTube and check out those albums. Thanks a lot.